Throughout the years, we've featured many of sailing's heroes here on Mainsail, from breakers of records to winners of medals and pioneers of design. But there's one man that's been working at the highest level in his field for over 4 decades. His creative techniques have pushed the boundaries of sailing photography and made it an art form. This month on Mainsail, we take a look inside the life of one of sailing's most revered photographers as we go behind the lens with the legendary Carlo Borlenghi. The world of yacht racing is a world steeped in history. It's a world that boasts the oldest trophy in international sport. It's a world that for over a century has been pushing the limits of the marine industry in a bid to sail faster, to sail further, to break boundaries and set records. These goals have inspired a world of innovation, of new design and groundbreaking construction techniques. But throughout the years, they've also inspired pioneers from further afield. In 1888, a chemist from Kent in the United Kingdom moved here to the Isle of Wight and set up a business that would be one of the very first of its kind. Enchanted by the sight of yachts sailing off the famous Royal Yacht Squadron in Cowes, Frank Beacon set about taking pictures of boats racing. To do so, he had to adapt the heavy and elaborate cameras of the day to better suit the rigorous environment of the sea, because his goal was to be the first to take pictures from on board the boats while sailing. Because they were photographed on glass plates, his legacy lives on today in this magnificently archived library of his work. It's quite something. Back in the 19th century, Frank Beacon was a pioneer. He took the then new science of photography, he made it mobile, he adapted it to the demands of sailing. But this wasn't the only new ground he was breaking. Crucially, he also turned this passion into a business. Almost 130 years on, the world of sailing today would to Beacon be unrecognisable. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, which is as much in common with science as seamanship. The yachts have evolved from the hardwood monoliths to high-speed darts which fly above the water, powered by wings, all made from materials born from man's race to the moon. Despite all the progress and development, all the betterment and change, Beacon's pioneering work in photography is still as viable today as it was over 100 years ago. Fast forward to Italy in the 1970s, and that rare talent for taking outstanding sailing photographs was rediscovered in an emerging photographer whose work quickly drew comparisons to Beacon. His story is one of a man who turned to the sport almost by accident, but whose natural eye for the extraordinary immediately drew attention and ultimately led to a career that redefined how the sport would be captured on film. To meet him, we've come to his home on the shores of Italy's beautiful Lake Como, and I'm so excited to be here. We have been trying to make this edition of Mainsail for ages, but it's not been that easy to film. He's one of the sport's busiest men, but he's so much more than that. He's also one of sailing's real living legends. Carlo Borlenghi started taking photographs at local sailing regattas here in his hometown, back when he was in his teens. Born the son of a plumber, he worked hard at his passion. His pictures quickly drew attention from sailors, but also regatta organisers, and more crucially, one of Europe's premier publishers, Vogue magazine.
For me it was a dream because I was 19 years old, and to work for Vogue at this age was the change completely my life. I studied engineering in university, and then I decided to move directly to this job. I stayed 12 years with Vogue. It was a big change of my life.
But when you were a sailor, I mean, how did you find trying to take pictures of boats?
At the beginning of this job was a disaster for me because I don't swim, I don't sailing. I really don't understand how was the upwind, the downwind. My reference was, at the beginning, was a beacon of chaos, because I was the king of the picture, because everybody they talk about, if we talk about yachting picture, was beacon. And, but the problem for me, I realized I started to do the picture in the same way of beacon, but the boat in my generation was different of the boat the beacon take. The old boat of beacon was a piece of furniture, was fantastic. The modern boat, they are fast, but they are so ugly. The picture of beacon, they look very good. My picture, they look very bad. And then I start to crop all my picture, to go inside to see the action, to see the shadow, to see the emotion of one guy on board, the spray. And then Vogue, they like this kind of picture. At this time, I say, yes, I do the yachting photographer for the rest of my life, because I really like.
Carlo's career quickly blossomed. Professional sailing in the 80s and 90s was becoming big business. And in Italy, big-name sponsors needed stylish photographs. Carlo became the photographer of choice. Today, he is now the most successful sailing photographer of his generation. He's travelled the world in the name of his trade, and after 40 years, he's still finding that magic shot, that 1/1000th of a second that will capture the moment like no other. Carlo, describe for me the perfect photo.
The perfect photo is the picture that don't need the caption. You have to tell all the story in one picture. This is the more difficult part of this job. You have to pick up exactly the moment to describe the situation. The best moment for me are the Olympic Games, when Benazli crossed the line to win the 4 gold medal. This is the moment. You can't lose this moment. In one picture you understand Ben, the medal.
Over the decades, Carlo has covered virtually every event in the sailing calendar and taken literally millions of photographs. So I had to ask the obvious question. Which one is your favourite?
Well, I think my favorite is from the Rolex in the Hobart race. It's this one, because this was really my choice to put the boat very small.
I know what that feels like, to feel so small in the ocean.
Yeah, they look like this. They must be scared.
If you want to see more of Carlo's stunning images, you can see his all-time top 5 on the sailing pages at CNN Online. When we return, we'll show you more of Carlo's most stunning and acclaimed images and see the man in action as he travels to Sardinia for the Rolex Maxi World Series. This month on Mainsail, we're with one of the busiest men in the world of sailing. Italian Carlo Borlenghi has dedicated his life to the art of photographing yacht racing and has built a reputation unsurpassed in his profession. He's taken some of the most iconic pictures in our sport. He has an eye for the extraordinary and sees possibilities which aren't immediately obvious. In a career spanning 4 decades, remarkably, Carlo is still as driven and passionate about his work today, always searching for a brand new perspective. Carlo, what is it about sailing that has captured your imagination?
The subject is fantastic, because after 40 years I'm still excited to do this job. You can play just with the sail, you can play just with the bow. I look at the event like a puzzle, no? I go out each day, I try to put one piece in the puzzle. When I am on board with so many other photographers, I'm not interested to shoot where they shoot. I wait for my moment for to put a piece of puzzle inside of my story.
Carlo's photographs really do speak for themselves. However, they're the product of a demanding lifestyle, endlessly on the road, regatta to regatta, hotel room to hotel room. But it's a life he seems to relish. Carlo, where's your favourite place?
My favorite place is Australia for the Rolex in the Hobart race. It's one of the amazing races in the world.
Why do you like it?
You can get incredible light, and the weather over there is they change quickly. Each year is different to the year before, and I think this is the race. This is the race.
Carlo's love of photography is matched only by his love for his wife Alessandra, although sometimes she's not so sure which is his biggest love.
I don't know if it's more for me or more for his job, his love. Probably his job. We was born in the same village. In our life, we go around, me, Carlo, and his camera. We don't have children, but we have all the camera. He is living for the Maxi, and I'm sure he tries to do something new. All the time is the same enthusiasm for his job.
The European capital of sailboat racing, Sardinia's Costa Smeralda has been hosting big boat sailing regattas since the early 70s. At this time of year, it's the place to be, and it's a place that Carlo loves and knows well. It's quite something, isn't it, here in Porticero?
This is the paradise for the yachting, for the photography. I come here for 40 years now, and always when you come back with a very good picture from this place.
At the beginning of the week, do you feel nervous? Do you have that feeling?
Yeah, nervous because I know I have to do the story for my sponsor. I have to cover the race for my. As soon as I'm sure I have a picture that the sponsor needs, I'm more relaxed. But normally I spend all week a little bit nervous until the end because we're never happy.
Carlo is part of our, let's say, sailing career. I probably met him for the first time 35 years ago, and I consider Carlo probably the best. Photographs, they can be a way to document a situation. But the second, much more important, it's to catch the feeling of the moment. And that's exactly what he's able to do, is catching the atmosphere, the energy, and the feeling of the people on board. And he's real good with that.
I think his first picture, which was a lucky one, was taken in 1980. It was the Brava broaching to windward with Mr. Landolfi hanging on the pushpit, looking around like he was taking a bath in his swimming pool. And apparently that was his very lucky picture that launched him in the hemisphere of the famous photographer, and from then on he never stopped.
His picture has a soul, You can see in the picture and understand that in that moment he wanted to catch that kind of images, and he's able to do it. Not everybody can do it. He's an artist. That's the reality. He's not just a photographer, he's an artist.
I think what he captures is the intensity of the moment. I think he's an integral part of the sailing community and family. He represents to the rest of the world what we actually do for our jobs. And so with that comes a huge responsibility, and there are a select few that do it as well as he does.
Porticero is a real home from home for Carlo, and you don't have to go far to find evidence of how well he's thought of in this particular sailing community. For example, the latest super yacht to arrive in the harbour is the exquisite Mainsail, owned by Pierluigi Loro-Piana. The boat itself is a stunning work of art, but step inside, and it's obvious to see who Pierluigi's favourite artist really is.
I don't remember how long I know Carlo, but probably 25 years, even more, since I started to do racing. I like his attitude. He's so passionate, and he does so many good pictures. And he has idea. He has a great creativity. When he sees the nature, he already seen the picture. And you can understand that from his picture. And you will see there are some in my boat which I really love. He's able to make a photo of the wind. Make the photo of the wind is difficult because he can make something very usual so attractive, so full of passion and sentiment. It's fantastic. It's unique.
In part 3, sailing gets underway here in Sardinia, and we'll be heading off with Carlo as he tries to get those stunning action shots. Before that though, let's have a look at what else has been happening in the sailing world this month. Costa Smeralda also played host this month to the Rolex Swan Cup. Over 125 yachts competed in this special anniversary edition. Amid some testing conditions, it was Donald McPherson's 90-footer Freya that took cup honours. Act 6 of the Extreme Sailing Series took place in Madeira, where the Swiss team Alinghi took an impressive overall win, despite losing their mast after a collision with the Red Bull sailing team. The result sees Alinghi narrow the gap at the top of the series rankings to just 3 points. Next month's Mainsail will be in Lisbon for the penultimate act. This month on Mainsail, we're in Sardinia with sailing's most sought-after photographer, the legendary Carlo Borlenghi. After a career spanning over 4 decades, Carlo is one of the most respected photographers in the sport. And here in Sardinia, he's a man revelling in his environment. What are you looking for this week? What's your idea?
The first 3 days is very windy, and in this case we follow just the action.
Are you excited about the week?
Yeah, because I saw so many good teams. When you have a good team, they can push the boat very hard, and they help you to get a very good picture.
It's a frustrating start to the regatta. Strong winds in Porto Cervo make racing impossible. There was nothing to do but wait it out. When the conditions finally break, Carlo knows he needs to rush and make the most of the opportunity. So he scrambles over to the island helipad to climb on board with one of his most trusted partners, helicopter pilot Alberto.
Ciao Carlo, come stai? I first met Carlo in 1996 here in Sardinia, and we did the first flight, and he was very happy because I already knew how to fly over the yachts.
If you don't have a good pilot, it's very difficult to take a very good picture from the air, because the most of the pilots are the taxi drivers. They go straight, then it's very difficult to get a position or to follow the boat in the front, or go very low and stay with the same speed of the boat. This pilot is very good. The front, lower.
We never argue, never.
What do you do for Carlo in the air that makes it work?
You have to be in the right position at the right time, with the right angle, the reflection, the sail. You know, it's not just the yachts. He needs the man on the bow or the man on the mast with the sail of the other yacht behind or in front. You know, you have to catch the perfect shot. Okay, you have the J-class in front of us.
Seeing Carlo at work was like watching a hunter stalking its prey. He wasn't firing off shots at everything that moved. He knew what he wanted, waiting patiently in position, staring down at his target boat, knowing that in just a few more rolls of the ocean, its bow would plummet down off a wave and Carlo would pounce with his shutter.
Okay, single boat.
Yeah. Perfetto. Nice shot, eh? Beautiful.
He'd found the shot he was after, a photo that tells its own story. This giant J-class yacht piercing a ferocious wave, tamed by the most relaxed of crews.
Good one. Next one.
I think is one of the best. I can't say it's the best, come on. But it's the best.
Despite the limited racing opportunities, Carlo ends up having a productive afternoon in the helicopter. But the day is far from over. The best of the photographs need to be studied closely and personally selected for his clients. This means a long evening ahead for Carlo and his photo editor, Luca Buto. Carlo has shared his talent for the artistry of photography with Luca, but is concerned that it's much tougher nowadays for someone to be able to emulate his kind of work.
I was very lucky at the beginning of this job. Maybe I was born in the good time because I saw the evolution of the yachting. Now the young generation, they are very difficult to go. To be photographer now is very difficult because the magazines don't pay nothing now because they are all without the money, and there is a big recession, and the magazines they don't pay nothing. And to come to cover one event is very expensive. It's for this we don't see too much young guys. We need a new generation.
In the end, it's been a successful regatta, not just for the victors on the water, but also for Carlo, who captured some unforgettable moments. It's been fascinating to witness him at work. There's not a moment of the day or night where he isn't wanting to capture his art. This is clearly more than just a job for him. It's his life's passion.
I started at 19 to arrive here now in this beautiful place with this kind of boat. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I work very hard. I never come tired to do this job. Always exciting to do another race, to jump from one event to another one. I have an amazing life. I have enough money to live well, and I saw so many incredible places. What I need more?